tossed by the stormy seas. Oh, you meant the world to me. I used to kiss your head when you cried for me. Hold your hand while the pain was over. Keep you warm by the roaring sea. You meant the world to me. Oh, you meant the world to me.
Hey guys, welcome back to another video, and today I'm here with What If Deku and Todoroki Were Brothers, Part 1. And in case you guys were wondering where this professionally made thumbnail came from, it came from a good friend of mine on Discord. Speaking of Discord, you guys should totally join it. We have just had some big changes in the Discord. We have added a bunch more new channels to talk in, and we have added ranks and bots. So if you guys don't want to miss the party and you want to have a 99% chance of getting to talk with me, I would join the Discord, because I don't always respond to your guys' comments, and I accept that. I know that I don't respond a lot. But if you guys do want a 99% chance of me responding, join the Discord. We have a lot of fun there. We post memes and we have a good laugh. So yeah, I would totally join it. And if you guys want to see me dress up as Deku and dye my hair green for Halloween, make sure you subscribe. Because if we hit 2K before Halloween, I will dress up as Deku and dye my hair green for Halloween. So if you guys want to see that, make sure you guys subscribe. And if you enjoyed the video, make sure you hit the like button. And while you're at it, of course, right after you subscribe, make sure you United States of smash the bell icon to be notified when I post a new video. So yeah, give me a second. I'm gonna get some water and we'll go ahead and start this. So, we are going to start when Deku and Todoroki were born. So, when they were born, they were twins. Not identical twins, they were just twins. But one son was shorter than the other. The other was about an inch or two taller than the other one. Ray didn't really care about this, but Endeavor, he sure didn't like this. 'Cause the fact that one was shorter than the other wasn't good. 'Cause if they both get the same quirk, and he has to end up choosing one of his sons or daughters to start training, he will most likely throw out the shortest one. And if they both get the same quirk, both get the two quirks, he will still throw out the shortest one. So Endeavor wasn't liking his odds. So, from that point on, Deku and Todoroki were just inseparable. They just did not want to leave each other. They were always together, they would always play together, and they just loved each other's presence. So we are going to skip to when Deku and Todoroki were 3 years old. So, Ray was taking Deku and Todoroki to the doctor because she noticed that Deku was a lot shorter than Todoroki. Todoroki had just been sprouting up, but Deku, he was still staying pretty short, and Ray was kind of worried. Because she knew if Deku was this short, Endeavor isn't going to let him live it down, and she didn't want that to come of her son. So she takes them to the doctor, and the quirk doctor says, well, there's nothing really we can do about this. By these records, they say that he was already short when he was born. He was already shorter than the other. And this isn't uncommon. This can happen. We've seen it before. So there's nothing really to worry about. But in Ray's mind, she knows that there's something to worry about. He doesn't know what goes on back at the house. Back at the mansion that they live in. And Ray's just sitting there with her hand over her mouth, and she asks, is there any vitamins or medicines we can give him for him to sprout up? And the doctor says, ma'am, he's 3 years old. When he gets to about 13, he'll sprout up all right. He'll sprout real good. So just, please, don't waste my time. For all we know, there's a man out there bleeding to death, and you guys are kind of wasting my time. And then Ray says, you're a child's orthopedic. What man's life are you gonna be saving? As the doctor says, you're wasting my time. Can you please leave? As Ray says, whatever. As she grabs Todoroki and Deku and leaves. Deku doesn't know what that was all about, and neither does Todoroki. They're just sitting in the back seat looking at each other. As they turn to look at their mom, they notice that she's sweating profusely. They know she's stressed, and there's nothing really they can do about that. That's just how she's been for most of the time they've been alive. They don't know why, but they just know that this is how she's been for a long time. As Ray says, Todoroki, Deku, promise me that you'll become heroes. You'll be like All Might, and not like your father. As Deku and Todoroki say, we will, Mom. Don't worry. As Ray smiles as she keeps driving. So now we are going to skip to when Deku and Todoroki are 4 years old and heading to their quirk examination. So, they get to the quirk doctor and they are just so excited. They can't wait to find out what their quirks are. They are just ecstatic to find out what their quirks are, as they're jumping up and down in the car as they arrive. Ray tells them to behave themselves, but they immediately jump out the door as the car is coming to a stop. Ray screams as she puts full force on the pedal, or not on the pedal, but on the brakes, as she turns around to see that the children are fine as they're running to the door. Ray just about had a mini heart attack as she opens up the door and screams, "Wait! Wait!" as she grabs her purse and starts jogging to the door. So Todoroki and Deku get inside as they get to the sign-up area or the check-in area, and they are just jumping up and down as they're looking over the edge. As the the quirk doctor is just looking down at them as he's looking for their parents. Ray throws open the doors as she puts her hands on her knees and starts gasping for air. As she says, "You guys scared me. Why'd you guys jump out of the car like that?" As Deku and Todoroki say, "Hurry, hurry, hurry, we're ready to find out what our quirks are." As she smiles and walks over to the desk and fills out the form. 10 minutes later, and the quirk doctor finally calls them in. as Deku and Todoroki sprint through the door as the quirk doctor is caught off guard and falls flat on his butt. As he looks down the hall, he notices that they're turning straight to the right room that he was going to take them to. He doesn't know how they knew, or how they knew, but he shrugs it off, gets up, and heads to the room. Ray follows him as she gets in and says, "You guys better behave," as she asks if the quirk doctor is alright. As he says, "Yeah, it's fine. I see kids like this all the time, so don't worry." As Deku is like, "What's our quirks? What are our quirks?" As the quirk doctor's like, "Hold on a moment. Jeez, let me pull up your exams. Gosh." As he sips his coffee and looking at the screen. As he clicks on the Todoroki family name and looks through the files to see the X-ray report. As he looks at the X-ray, he looks at them both with a sad face on, as he smiles and says, "Your two beautiful boys have quirks." As Ray says, "Yes." And Todoroki and Deku are just ecstatic as they're jumping up and down as they're asking what it is. And the quirk doctor says, "Well, that's what we have to test you for." As he brings them outside to test out their quirks. So, Todoroki creates a small little, ice thing under his foot and is able to create fire from his hand, as Deku does the same. Ray immediately gets flashbacks of when she was a little girl. But then those happy memories are interrupted by when she sees Endeavor and both of the kids as they're admiring their quirks. They both look at their fire quirks, and she immediately sees Endeavor. She staggers back as she snaps back to normal. The quirk doctor holds her shoulder as he asks, "Are you alright, ma'am?" And Ray says, Yeah, I'm fine," as he lets go of her shoulder. So after this point, Endeavor, as soon as they get home, Endeavor pounds Ray on telling him what their quirks are, as she says. They both have the quirks, as she sighs, thinking that she's failed the kids. Endeavor smiles the largest grin and says, "Shoto!" As Deku looks at Todoroki, as Todoroki looks at Endeavor. As Endeavor smiles as Deku runs over and says, "When will we begin our train?" As soon as Deku was about to finish that sentence, Endeavor slaps Deku to the ground as he shrugs and says, "You're too small and pathetic to possibly be trained by me. Come on, Shoto," as he pushes Shoto through the door. Deku runs to try and grab Shoto, but Endeavor blocks the path with his flames and says, "Get back, peasant," as he slams the door behind them. As Deku hears Todoroki crying as he's dragged away. Deku doesn't know what just happened, but he knows that he probably just lost his best friend. So without Todoroki, Deku had to play with his other brother and sisters. He's done this a couple times. I mean, he's friends with them. He loves them. But it just wasn't the same as playing with his twin brother. But one day, Deku was playing basketball with his brothers and sisters when he looks up to see Todoroki looking down at him. Deku gets excited as he waves. Todoroki is about to wave back with a huge smile on his face when Endeavor grabs Todoroki by his shoulder and starts dragging him away. As Endeavor says, "You're on a whole different level than them." As Deku has had enough, he storms off. As he gets up there, he throws open the door and he walks up to Endeavor and tells him to leave his brother alone. Todoroki is sitting on the ground with puke right below him. As he looks over at his brother to see Endeavor grab Deku by the neck and slam him into the door. As Deku says, "I'm stronger than you." Endeavor has never heard those words before, and it hit him like a truck. He knows Deku isn't stronger than him, but he's never heard someone below him say that. As Deku kicks Endeavor straight in the nuts. As Deku, with everything he's got, punches Endeavor, knocking Endeavor to the ground. Endeavor realizing the potential in this kid. As Deku screams, "Leave my brother alone! Take me instead! I don't want him to have to go through this! Take me, not him! Ever since you took him, he hasn't gotten to experience the outside world. And I've had plenty of time to experience it. It's time it's his turn. It's his turn, dang it. And who says you can choose when someone is to get freedom or not? He deserves freedom. But I don't think a monster like you would get that." As he picks Todoroki up and throws him out the door. As Deku says, "Go! The outside world is a lot prettier than we thought." As Deku smiles as Endeavor shuts the door, as he looks at Deku with a large grin. From that point on, Deku took the harshest of beatings. Way harder training than Todoroki ever received. He would be beaten to a pulp and then be forced to run a marathon on his ice. And then he'd be forced to use his fire on hours end. Then at the end, to use his ice for hours on end. For an entire day with no food or water. He would be trained, starved, beaten. Deku almost forgot what true freedom was like. So one day, on one of Deku's lucky off days, Deku's hanging out with Todoroki as Todoroki is just telling him thank you for getting him out of there, as Deku says, "It's what brothers do. Let's go see if that tea's ready." Okay, just letting you guys know, Deku and Todoroki, by this point, are 6 years old. since they're twins. I'll just say if Deku is 6 years old, then Todoroki's 6 years old, because they're twins. So, back to the story. So, Deku and Todoroki walk in the room to hear their mom talking so badly about them. 'Cause in this universe, her beatings have been even worse. 'Cause she doesn't like seeing her two kids being abused. First it was Todoroki, then Deku. She hated seeing that. And she tried to step up to him, but she just couldn't. So, Deku and Todoroki walk in to hear her talking so badly about them. She says that every day Deku and Todoroki are just looking more and more like Endeavor, and that she's sick of it. She wishes she could just kill everyone in the family. She knows it's cruel, but this is torture. She can't stand it anymore. She can't go on vacation. She can't do anything. She's trapped in this prison. As Todoroki asks, Mom, why are you saying that stuff about us? As she turns around, afraid for her life, as the tea starts whistling. As she starts shaking profusely as she drops the phone. Deku's just watching on as Todoroki's walking closer and closer to his mother. As Rei grabs the teapot and runs towards Todoroki, slamming him into a wall, and then pouring the hot tea or hot water on his face. While she's doing that, Deku asks, Mom, why are you doing that? Stop it. As Rei turns to look at Deku, as with all of her force she throws the teapot right at Deku's face, hitting him right in the eye, and as all the water spills onto his eye. Deku screams in agony as he starts scratching at his eye. He starts flailing around as he's screaming in agony. Endeavor busts into the room to see Deku flailing on the floor with Todoroki on his knees crying in pain. As he looks at Rei, who sees Endeavor, she starts backing up. As she screams, "Stay away from me!" As Endeavor grabs her and punches her to the ground and grabs her by the face as he starts burning her alive, as he slams her through a door as he calls 911. The police arrive and take her to a hospital, and after that she'd be taken to a mental hospital. Endeavor was furious at this. As he sees Deku is still flailing on the floor, he calls an ambulance for Deku, and Deku is taken to the hospital. But it's too late. Deku has gone blind in one eye, and that happened to be his right eye. Deku doesn't know what to think now that he's lost an eye. It's just darkness in that eye. He doesn't know what to say. All he does know is that Endeavor's training will be even worse. So now we're going to skip to when Deku and Todoroki were 13. So just letting you guys know, Deku never meets Bakugo because Deku and Todoroki have been going to a private school. So, yeah. So one day, Deku and Todoroki were walking home after a long day of school and for Deku training. So, Deku is walking and Todoroki decides he's gonna keep going straight. And Deku decides to take the shortcut. So, Deku decides to take a shortcut underneath an alley. When he's taking this shortcut, he eventually comes across a bridge. As he starts to walk under the bridge, he hears something rattling from a nearby pipe. He walks over to the pipe as he puts an eye to it. He sees something's coming towards him as Deku freezes the pipe as this slime creature busts through the pipe. Nearby, Todoroki hears the explosion as he starts running in the direction of his brother. Deku fell on the ground by the amount of power that was used to break open the pipe. Deku looks up to see this slime creature, who's looking around to see who may have did that, who tried to stop him from getting out. As he looks down to see Deku on the ground, as he says, "Yes! Oh, your body. I'm gonna take it. You'll be a prime hostage, kid. Don't worry. You're helping the greater good." Isn't that what stupid All Might would say? As he starts charging towards Deku, Deku, with his full might, uses a prominence burn. Actually, I'm trying to think. What should I call Deku's fire technique? I'll call it Phoenix, as Deku uses Phoenix to fire a phoenix-like bird flame from his hand. It isn't able to fly around, but it's just a flame, shaped into a phoenix. As it hits the sludge villain, and the sludge villain screams in pain as he looks around to see where that brat is. He looks behind him to see the kid freezing him. Wait, he's freezing him! As Deku decides to combine his hot and ice together to create a blue flame. As Deku fires the blue flame at the sludge villain, it hits the sludge villain as Todoroki arrives to see the sludge villain being burned to ashes. Todoroki, realizing this thing is probably trying to hurt his brother, Todoroki immediately joins in with his flames as they start burning the creature from side to side. The creature, or the sludge villain, tries to escape, but he can't. He's stuck. As the sludge villain screams in pain, as the sludge villain falls into one gloop. Deku freezes the gloop as he puts it in a Ziploc bag. As All Might arrives, and with his famous line, he says, "I am here!" "Oh, it looks like you have this under control." As Deku says, "Yeah, I guess we must have had it under control." As Todoroki is like, "All Might? I can't believe it's you." As Deku hands over the sludge villain, as it finally sets in on Deku, and Deku's like, "Crap, it's All Might. Wait, can you sign our notebook?" As both of them say that at the same time, holding out their notebooks. As All Might says, "Don't worry, I already got that done." As All Might thanks them for capturing the sludge villain, as he says, "You guys will make great heroes one day," as he gives them a salute as he jumps off. Deku and Todoroki are really happy by this meeting, and they hope to see him again, as they start walking in the direction of home. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is where I'm going to end this episode off here. If you guys want to join my Discord, link will be in the description. Don't forget, if I hit 2K before Halloween, I will dress up as Deku and dye my hair green. So yeah, if you enjoyed, make sure you hit the like button and subscribe. And while you're at it, United States of smash the bell icon to be notified when I post a new video. So yeah, peace